I'm the Rev Keneth Meshoe, the president of the ACDP, African Christian Democratic Party. Like you, I'm concerned about the high crime levels in this country. Government seems to have tried everything possible, everything they could do, and they have failed. I think the problem must be with their policies. And if we have a government that has policies that cannot deal with crime, then citizens must start thinking about replacing that government. You know, it is the fundamental duty of any government to protect its citizens. And when government fails to protect its citizens, they are failing in their most important and fundamental responsibility. Now the question is asked, what can the ACDP do, and what will the ACDP do when they get into power? It is important, friend, for you to know that the ACDP is not planning to be in the opposition forever. The ACDP is planning to rule so that the people of South Africa can start rejoicing. Remember what Proverbs 29:2 says. It says, when the righteous are in authority, people rejoice. But when the wicked rule, people mourn. There's been, and there is, a lot of mourning around. I can promise you, when the ACDP is on authority, we will be ruthless with criminals. We will not think about the rights of criminals before the rights of the victims. We will put the interests of the victims first and not the criminals, as it is happening today. But you may ask the question, what will you practically do? Number one, we would ensure that stiff sentences are introduced and enforced, and there will be minimum sentences for certain crimes. When people talk about allowing the judges to use their discretion, we say, fine, we agree with that, but they will be given a minimum level, a minimum sentence that they will not be allowed to go beyond or below, so that individuals will know that this government, the Christian ACDP government, is serious about eradicating crime. We will introduce minimum sentences. Secondly, we will deny bail for certain categories of crimes. For example, when a victim feels threatened by the perpetrator of the crime, we would ensure that that person who is dangerous is denied bail until they appear before the court of law. We will also ensure that those who are sentenced, when they're in jail, they don't live in luxury, they don't have special privileges, but we'll ensure that all those who are convicted work with their hands in order to earn money for their boarding and lodging. The ACDP says there will be no free lunch, free dinner, free accommodation, free medication, free education for those who are terrorizing communities. They will have to work for that. We will ensure that we do not have the potholes that we are having in our country today. There is labor behind bars that is getting everything free when you and me don't get things free. And the ACDP says, how can the victim work hard to rebuild their lives when the perpetrator is doing nothing and sleeping, just watching television and having everything free of charge? The ACDP says all those who are convicted must work in order to pay for their boarding and lodging, because we want to teach these people that crime does not pay. What else will we do as the ACDP? We will introduce a principle of restitution. When you take from somebody, when you rob somebody, and you think that if you are arrested, you'll go to prison for a few years, and when you come back, you'll enjoy your loot, you'll enjoy what you have stolen, that is not going to happen with the ACDP. You will have to pay back 4 times to the victims. The victim must be compensated. So anybody who commits a crime under the ACDP government will ensure that restitution is done to the victim. If it's monetary, you have to pay back. You steal from a bank, you steal from a business, you steal from an individual, you'll have to work and pay back fourfold. You will not have the opportunity and the privilege to enjoy what you have stolen under the ACDP government. Do you know that when you have, as a policy, the principle I'm talking about of restitution, that there will be people who will, even maybe carelessly, leave their wallets and purses lying around, knowing that whoever steals from them would give back much more than any bank could give interest for. Imagine, you steal, you pay back 4 times. What else will we do? We'll ensure that those who are found guilty of serious crimes, such as murder, the rape of innocent babies, we will be merciless with those people. We will introduce capital punishment. I know there are even Christians who have a problem with capital punishment. But I challenge such Christians to read scriptures, to read the Bible. The Bible is clear on the issue of capital punishment. Some are quick to say, but no, that was the Old Testament, as if God has changed. The God of the Old Testament is the God of the New Testament. He cared for lives in olden days as he cares for lives today. Why did he tell the Romans that you must use the sword to punish evildoers? A sword is not an instrument to tickle a person. It is to punish. And if you punish with a sword, you are taking the life of a person. So the ACDP will introduce capital punishment to deal with criminals that do not think twice before they take the life of another person, even just for a cell phone. So I'm saying, friends, the ACDP has the strategies, the ACDP has the policies, the ACDP has a will, the ACDP has the capacity to do what needs to be done to ensure that South Africa becomes a very peaceful and prosperous nation. Do you know there are nations on the continent where they do not experience such high crime levels, even though there are poor people among them? When people argue that for as long as you have poor people, you are going to have such serious crimes, I disagree, because there are many, many, many decent poor people out there who will not rape babies, who do not take the lives of innocent people. There are many decent people out there. And so what I'm saying is we will introduce stiff sentences, we will introduce capital punishment, we will become friends of victims and not friends of criminals. South Africa can be and will be a safe, prosperous nation under a government that is willing to apply principles of the Word of God, and a government that will not shy from enforcing law and order. When you have the ACDP government, we are not going to have South African police services. No, we are going to have South African police force. We are going to force law and order. And when we do that, we know that the drug cartels will go somewhere else, because South Africa will no more be a good place for them. The Lord bless you as you talk to your friends, as you talk to your neighbors, as you try to influence them to bring in a government that cares for the people of South Africa, a government that wants to make South Africa a safe, stable, and prosperous nation. The Lord bless you.